Teachers, welcome to today's MCQ series on role and responsibilities of teachers, Unit 6 of Teaching Aptitude. So, here, with your permission, I want to start MCQ series. But before starting MCQ series, I would like to go with some key points with your permission. Thank you. So, here, as we know very well, the teacher role, as we understood, as a facilitator, as a mentor, as a guide. So these roles are mainly for the purpose of the holistic development of student. So the core concept of teacher role is about teacher act as a facilitator, guide, mentor, co-learner that we know very well. What are the responsibilities of teacher? That is about academic responsibility. What are academic responsibilities? That is about teaching effectively, planning lessons, assess students, clarifying concepts. What about the social responsibilities? That is promoting equality, building discipline, encouraging teamwork. What about the moral responsibilities? The moral responsibilities are developing values, acting as a role model, promoting honesty and respect, and personal qualities. The teacher must have patience, empathy, must have communication skill with positive attitude. What are the professional qualities? The teacher must have subject knowledge, pedagogical skills, continuous of learning, classroom management. So here that is he must have academic responsibility, social responsibility, moral responsibility, professional qualities, professional and personal qualities. Guru Shishya Parampara, as we know very well, in ancient Indian education system, teacher is nothing but guru, where we called as guide for life based on respect, discipline, valuable based learning. So here, with your permission, I want to start MCQ series. So here is the first question. In the 21st century educational landscape, the primary role of a teacher has shifted from being a sage, being a sage on the stage to a what? A. Strict disciplinarian. B. Passive observer. C. Guide on the side. D. Sole repository of knowledge. Repository knowledge. So the answer is what? It is about guide on the side. That means work as a facilitator. Modern pedagogy, that means constructivism, emphasizes that teachers should not merely dictate information but rather facilitate learning by guiding students to discover questions and construct their own knowledge. Question number 2. Which of the following is a classroom procedure rather than rule? That is, a respect your classmates and their property. Keep your hands and feet to yourself. Place your completed homework in the blue bin by the door. Do not use inappropriate language. So, procedure rather than rule, and that is about place your completed homework in the blue bin by the door. Rule pertain to behavior expectation and moral guidelines, usually concerning safety and respect. Procedures are the specific step by step routines for how things are done in the classroom to maintain order and efficiency. 3. Question number 3. In the ancient Indian tradition, the word guru is derived from two syllables, gu and ru. What does these syllables represent? Guru means light, ru means bringer, gu means darkness, That means ignorance. Ru means destroyer. What we call destroyer. C. Gu means knowledge, or you mean Ru means seeker. Gu means ancient. Ru means text. So your answer is about Gu means darkness. Ru means dispeller, means destroyer. So here in Sanskrit, Gu signifies darkness or ignorance. Ru signifies the one who removes it. Therefore, Guru is spiritually and intellectually defined as the disciple of ignorance, destroyer of ignorance. Question number 4. A student in the back row is whispering. The teacher continues lecturing but walks down the aisle and stands right next to the student's desk. The whispering stops. The whispering stops. This is an example. A student in the classroom making noise. The teacher, without disturbing his class, suddenly went and standing near the that noise. Those who made noise. Then the students were stopping their discussion. This is the example of negative reinforcement, proximity control, extinction, C. satiation. So the answer is proximity control. Proximity control is a subtle non-verbal classroom management technique where the teacher moves physically closer to a task student to redirect the behavior without interrupting the lesson. Fifth one, according to Code of Professional Ethics for Teacher, which of the following is considered the severe conflict of interest? A. Attending a professional development workshop on weekends. B. Forcing one's own school student to attend paid private tuition run by the teacher. C. Mentoring a junior colleague. D. Publishing a research paper in an academic journal. So the answer is forcing one's own school student to attend paid private tuitions run by the teacher. Question number 6. When the teacher acts as a co-learner in the classroom, they are demonstrating that they are unqualified to teach the subject. They lack confidence in their lesson plan. C. Learning is a lifelong process and the teachers can also learn from students and alongside them. D. The students must teach themselves entirely. So what is your answer? So the answer is learning is a lifelong process and the teachers can also learn from students and alongside them. A co-learner embraces a growth mindset. By investigating questions together with students, I don't know the answer to that. Let's find out together. The teacher models intellectual curiosity and lifelong learning. Question number 7. Empathy is a crucial professional personal characteristic for a teacher. Which of the following best demonstrate empathy in classroom? So, feeling sorry for a student who failed and giving them passing marks anyway. B. Understanding a student's emotional stage and perspective and adjusting support accordingly. C. Ignoring a student's personal problem to focus strictly on academics. D. Telling a struggling student about the teacher's own childhood problems. So your answer is that is about answer number sorry as question number 7. This answer is B. Understanding a student's emotional stage and perspective and adjusting support accordingly. Empathy is the ability to step into another's shoes and understand their feelings without compromising professional boundaries or academic standard. It helps in building trust and providing appropriate support. Question number 8. In ancient Indian education, the learning process consists of three distinct steps. Shravana, that means listening. Manana, that means reflection. And what is the third one? Asana, posture. Nididhyasana, application or meditation. Pranayama, that is the breathing. Vakarna, that is the breath practice. So your answer is Nididhyasana, that is meditation. The ancient process of internalizing knowledge involved Savana, listening to the Guru, Manana, mentally reflecting, critically analyzing the techniques, and Nididhyasana, meditating upon it and applying it to life to achieve realization. Question number 9. In creating an inclusive classroom, the physical arrangement of the classroom should primarily ensure A. The teacher's desk is the highest point in the room. B. Students with similar IQs are seated together. C. Accessibility, equitable participation, and removal of physical barriers for all students, including those with physical or sensory disability. D. Desks are placed in strict single file rows facing blackboard. So your answer is accessibility, equitable participation, and removal of physical barriers for all students, including those with physical or sensory disabilities. An inclusive physical environment, accommodates wheelchairs, provide preferential seating for those with visual or auditory needs, and creates a welcoming space that allows all diverse learners to navigate and interact easily. Question number 10. Which ancient concept translates to selfless action and is considered a moral ideal for teachers dedicating themselves to the welfare of their students? 10th one. A. Karma Yoga, B. Ahimsa, C. Brahmacharya, D. Samsara. So the answer is Karma Yoga. Nishkama Karma. Nishkama karma implies performing one's duty without attachment to personal reward or selfish motives. A dedicated teacher embodies this by focusing purely on the growth and discuss of their students. Question number 11. Which of the following describe a reflective practitioner? 11th one. A teacher who dresses well and has neat classroom. B. A teacher who continuously analyzes their own teaching practice, success and failure to improve future instruction. C. A teacher who relies solely on textbook from the 1990s. A teacher who strictly avoid asking students for feedback. So question number 11, the answer is a teacher who continuously analyze their own teaching practices, successes and failure to improve future instruction. Reflective practice involves critically evaluating one's own pedagogy after a lesson, identifying what worked and what didn't, and adjusting methods accordingly to enhance student learning. 12th one. When a teacher acts as a facilitator, their primary focus during a group activity is A. Give the group the correct answer quickly so they finish on time. sit at their desk and grade papers while the groups work, circulate, ask probing questions, providing scaffolding and ensure equal participation. Do the difficult part of the project for the students. So here facilitator what you will do, circulate, ask probing question, provide scaffolding and ensure equal participation. A facilitator actively monitor the learning process. They do not do the work for the student. Instead, they provide necessary tools, environment and guidance, that means scaffolding for the student to solve problems themselves. Question number 13. According to Albert Bandura's social learning theory, why is the personal morality and conduct of a teacher so crucial? So here is the answer. Because the teacher can be fired easily, because students learn and adapt behavior, values and attitude primarily through observing and limiting their role models. Imitating their role model. Because moral teachers get higher salaries, because the curriculum requires memorizing moral rules. So here is the answer. Because students learn and adapt behavior, values and attitude primarily through observing and imitating their role models. Teachers are powerful role models. Students constantly observe a teacher's fairness, work ethic, and emotional regulation and often emulate these traits, making the teacher's personal conduct a vital part of the hidden curriculum. 13th over 14th one. What is the term academic freedom mean in the context of professional responsibility? A. Right, the right of teacher to arrive at school at any time they wish. The right of teacher to skip grading assignment. The freedom of teacher to explore ideas, discuss controversial topics, and choose pedagogical without unreasonable interference for censorship within the bounds of the curriculum. The right to teach religious dogma in a secular public school. So the answer is the freedom of teacher to explore ideas, discuss controversial topics, and those pedagogies without unreasonable interferences or censorship within the bounds of the curriculum. Academic freedom allows educators to teach the truth as they see it through rigorous intellectual inquiry, fostering an environment where critical thinking can thrive without fear of political or administrative reprisal. Question number 15. A teacher intentionally designs a classroom environment where students of all caste, religious, and economic background are treated with the equal respect and given equal opportunity. This teacher is upholding the constitutional value of sovereignty, fraternity and equality, capitalism and federalism. So here is the answer, that is about fraternity and equality. By treating all students impartially and promoting a sense of brotherhood among diverse learners, the teacher is directly upholding the core constitutional value of equality of students and opportunity and fraternity. Question number 16. In the context of ancient education, the Acharya was expected to charge of expedient fees for knowledge, live a life of immense luxury and comfort, embody the knowledge they thought, living life of simplicity, high moral character and spiritual discipline. D. Only teach students of royal descent. So here is the answer, that is about embody the knowledge they thought, living of a life of simplicity, high moral character and spiritual discipline. The Acharya teacher was expected to be living example of scriptures. Their moral character, self-control, simply living were considered just as important as their academic knowledge. 17th one, which the following action constitutes a breach of intellectual honesty by a teacher. A. Using colleagues' lesson plan with their permission. Presenting the research or ideas of another author as their own without the proper citation. Admitting the student that they made a mistake on the blackboard. D. Encouraging student to use multiple library books for project. So here is answer is presenting research or idea of other authors as their own without proper citation. Which are the breach of intellectual honesty. Breach means what? Wrong step. So here, intellectual honesty and academic integrity require giving proper credit for ideas, writings, or research. Plagiarism by a teacher is a severe ethical violation and models dishonest behavior to students. 18th one. Continuous professional development CPD is a key responsibility of modern teacher. This implies that a teacher must repeatedly teach the exact same syllabus for 30 years without changing, earn a new university degree every year, actively engaging in seminars, training, self-study to keep their pedagogy skills and subject knowledge up to date, change their profession every 5 years. So your answer is actively engage in seminar, training and self-study to keep their pedagogical skills and subject knowledge up to date. The National Education Policy 2020 mandated 50 hours of CPD for teachers annually, recognizing that teaching method, technology, and subject matter evolve, requiring teachers to be lifelong learners. 19th one. How can a teacher best act as an agent of social change? That is about by focusing only on the top performing student to ensure high school rankings, by maintaining social status quo and ignoring societal issues, by equipping students with the critical thinking skills, fostering democratic values and challenging prejudice in the classroom, by strictly adhering to rote memorization of historical dates. So your answer is by equipping students with critical thinking skill, fostering democratic values and challenging prejudice in classroom. Education is the most powerful tool for social transformation. Teachers act as change agents by breaking down stereotypes, promoting inclusivity, and empowering the students to question and improve their society. Which of the following is an example of a teacher violating the principle of impartiality? Giving extra help after school to a student who is struggling with math. B. Grading a test blind without looking at the names to avoid bias. C. Consistently giving higher grades and leadership roles to students who came from wealthy, influenced family. D. Using differentiated instruction to meet different learning needs. So, which are the following is example of teacher violating? Okay, impartiality, principle of impartiality. So here what is that one? Consistently giving higher grade and leadership roles to the students who came from wealthy and influential family. Impartiality means treating all students fairly and making decisions based on merit and objective criteria, free from bias, prejudice, or favoritism based on a student's background or identity. 21st one. A democratic classroom is one where the teacher allows students to vote on whether they should take exam or not, gives up all authority and lets students do whatever they want, Sharp power with the students, involve them in setting rules and respect their voice and opinions. Rules by fear and strict authoritarian control. So here is the answer. Shares power with students. Involve them in setting rules. Respect their voice and opinions. A democratic teacher maintains authority but exercises it collaboratively. They create a community where students have a voice in their learning process, fostering independence and civic responsibility. 22nd one. In the ancient Gurukula system, the ceremony of Samavartana signified the beginning of child education, the student's graduation and return home to enter the Gruhastha, that means householder phase of life. C. The daily routine of collecting alms. D. The punishment given for breaking rules. So here is the answer that is about that is about the student's graduation and return home to enter Gruhastha householder phase of life. That is B. Samavatana was a convocation or graduation ceremony performed at the end of the Brahmacharya period, signaling that Shishya has completed their education and was ready to assume societal responsibility. 23rd one. Action research is critical responsibility for proactive teachers. It primarily involves conducting large-scale national laboratory experiment on child psychology, a teacher conducting localized systematic research in their own classroom to solve specific problem and improve their own practice, reading educational journals, ensuring free periods, forcing students to participate in medical trials. So here is the answer is a teacher conducting localized systematic research in their own classroom to solve specified problems and improve their own practice. Action research is a practical and immediate. It is conducted by the practitioner like teacher to address an immediate specific issue in their classroom. Example, why are my students failing fractions? To improve teaching outcomes. 24th one. The concept of teacher efficacy, that means self efficacy, refers to how fast a teacher can grade papers, a teacher's belief in their own capability to organize and execute actions required to successfully teach all students, even though difficult ones. The number of degrees a teacher holds, the popularity of the teacher among the students. So your answer is B. Teachers believe in their own capability to organize or execute actions required to successfully teach all students, even the difficult ones. Coined by Albert Bandura, self efficacy is a person's belief in their ability to succeed. Teachers with high efficacy do not give up on struggling students because they believe their teaching can and will make a difference. 25th one. A teacher notices a colleague frequently using harsh, derogatory language towards students. Ethically, the teacher's first responsibility is ignore it as it is not their classroom, gossip about it with other teachers, address the colleague professionally regarding the all being done, and report it to the administration if it continues. To protect the students, insult the colleague in front of the students. So the answer is address the colleague professionally regarding the harm being done and report it to administration if it continues to protect the students. A teacher's primary ethical obligation is the safety and well-being of the student. Turning a blind eye to emotional abuse make one complicity. Professional ethics require intervention and appropriate reporting. 26 one. Which of the following is the most critical feature of effective feedback in assessment for learning? So that is, it must be highly critical to ensure student takes it seriously. It should only contain praise to boost self-esteem. It must be specific, timely, provide clear steps how to student can improve. It should always be public so other students can learn from the mistakes. Assessment for learning. So that is about, it must be specific, timely, provide clear steps how student can improve. For feedback to be formative, it must tell the student exactly what they did well, where they went wrong, and actionable steps to close the gap between their current understanding and learning goals. 27. What does it mean for a teacher to act as a mentor in addition to being an instructor? Simply delivering curriculum and living, providing guidance, emotional support, career advice, and acting as a trusted counselor behind just academic subject, doing the students' homework for them so they succeed, monitoring students during lunch breaks. So the answer is providing guidance, emotional support, career advice, and acting as a trusted counselor behind just academic subject. Mentorship transcends academics. A mentor takes a personal interest in the long term development, character, and well being of the mentee, helping them in navigating life, choice, and personal challenges. 28. In the context of ancient Indian value, ahimsa, non-violence, in a modern classroom translate to never giving bad grades, avoiding corporal punishment or short psychological manipulation, and fostering a safe, peaceful environment, allowing students to fight to resolve their own problems, not cutting paper with scissors. So the answer is avoiding corporal punishment, harsh words, psychological manipulation, and forecasting safe, peaceful environment. So here explain, ahimsa means non-inquiry in thought, word, and needed. In teaching, this means completely abstaining from physical and emotional abuse and creating a classroom culture rooted in kindness and mutual respect. Which of the following violates the ethical standard of maintaining appropriate professional boundaries? Attending attending a student school play show support, engaging in private non-academic conversation with a student on personal social media account late at night, keeping the classroom door open during a one-on-one tutoring session, shaking a student's hand at graduation. So the answer is what? Maintaining which of the following violates ethical standard. That is about engaging in private non-academic conversation with a student on personal social media such as WhatsApp, Instagram, like blah blah. Teacher must maintain clear boundary between their professional role and personal life. Private messaging on personal social media blur these lines, create vulnerability, and can lead to inappropriate relationship or accusation. 30. The NEP 2020 emphasized the role of the teacher as a creator of knowledge. How does teacher fulfill this? By writing their own textbook and banning all others, by shifting from rote transmission to designing innovative experiential learning modules where students co-create understanding, by only teaching facts that they themselves have invented, by refusing to use the internet. So the answer is by shifting from rote transmission to designing innovative experiential learning modules where students co-create understanding. Rather than just consuming and delivering standardized facts, teachers are expected to actively design, adapt, and create localized context specified pedagogical strategies and learning experience that help students discover knowledge. 30. Teacher accountability. Primary means that a teacher is answerable for what? The facial financial budget of the school, the quality of their instruction, academic progress, and overall well being of their student, the political opinions of the local government, maintaining the physical building of the school. So the answer is the quality of their instruction, the academic progress, and overall well being of the students. Professional accountability means taking ownership of student outcomes. It involves tracking student progress, evaluating the effectiveness of one's own teaching, and adjusting method to ensure every student learns. 32. According to the ancient Taittiriya Upanishad, the convocation addresses Shikshavali advise the students Maitri Devo Bhava, Pitri Devo Bhava, Acharya Devo Bhava. This implies Matri Devo Bhava, Pitri Devo Bhava, Acharya Devo. Teacher are the mythical beings. The mother, father, teacher are able to respect and reversed as divine entities in a student's life. C. Student must build temples in school. D. Teacher should be worshipped instead of studied. So here is the answer. Mother, father, teacher are to be respected and reversed as divine entities in student's life. This profound ancient statement elevates the status of the teacher Acharya to the level of the divine, placing them alongside parents as the supreme guides and benefactor in a person's life. 32. Sorry, 33. 34. A fundamental characteristic of successful teacher is flexibility. This is the best demonstrated by a teacher who changes school rules every day, so students never know to what to expect. B. Refuses to plan lessons in advance. Adopt their lesson plan on spot when they realize students are not understanding the concept, or when an unexpected teachable moment arises. Let students go home early whenever they are tired. So here the answer is adopt their lesson plan on the spot when they realize students are not understanding the concept, when an unexpected unteachable moment arises. Flexibility is the ability to pivot if a planned activity fails, or of a spontaneous discussion offer richer learning opportunity. A flexible teacher abandons the rigid script to maximize students' learning. 35th one. How does a teacher instills values and morals effectively in students? by forcing them to memorize a list of 50 moral rules, primarily through their own daily behavior, fairness, honesty, by integrating ethical discussion into a regular subjective, by by punishing them severely for minor mistakes, by teaching a dedicated morals class once a year. So here the moral values are primarily through their own daily behavior, fairness, honesty, and by integrating ethical discussion into regular subject. Values are caught, not taught. Sorry, values are caught, not taught. While formal values education exists, students learn moral most effectively by observing the consistent, ethical, and compassionate behavior of their teachers in daily interactions. 36. A teacher who views themselves as a co-learner is most likely to use which of the following responses when asked a question they do not know the answer to. So your answer, this is stupid question. Focus on textbook. I will answer that later and never does. I actually don't know the answer that. Let's research it together right now and see what we can find. Makes up false answer to protect their authority. So here is the answer is I actually don't know the answer that to that. Let's research it together right now and see what we can find. A co-learner drops the facade and omniscience, admitting lack of knowledge and demonstrating how to find the answer, models essential research skills and intellectual humility for the students. That is seventh one. In dealing with students with special education needs, SEN, the ethical responsibility of a teacher is to lower expectations so the student doesn't feel bad, segregate them to the back of the classroom, provide equitable opportunities, reasonable accommodation, and hold them to high achievable standards. Ask the administration to transfer them to another school. So here is the answer. Provide equitable opportunities, reasonable accommodations, and hold them to high achievable standards. Ethical and inclusive teaching requires providing the necessary support, that means equity, so that students with disabilities can access the curriculum and achieve their maximum potential rather than lowering expectations. 38. The ancient Indian philosophy of Vidya is captured in the phrase Sa Vidya Ya Vimuktya. This implies that the ultimate goal of a teacher is to provide education that guarantees high paying job, liberates the mind from ignorance, prejudice, and worldly attachments. C. Teaches students how to win wars. D. Ensure blind obedience to the state. So here is the answer. Liberate the mind from ignorance, prejudice, and worldly attachment. This profound Sanskrit aphorism means thought is knowledge, which is liberation. The teacher's role was to guide the student towards self-realization, critical thinking, and spiritual freedom, not just material success. Question number 39. A teacher's disposition refers to their physical location of the classroom, professional value, commitments, and professional ethics that influence their behavior towards students, families, and colleagues. Annual salary increment, ability to use interactive whiteboards. So, this position refers to professional values, commitments, and professional ethics that influence their behaviors toward students, families, and colleagues. Educators' dispositions are the underlying attitude and beliefs, like believing all children can learn or value diversity, that guide a teacher's actions and affect student learning motivation development. 40. To uphold the ethics of the teaching profession regarding relationship with parents, a teacher must avoid to avoid talking to parents to prevent interference. Only contact parents when the student has done something terribly wrong. Communicate respectfully, honestly, regularly regarding the child's progress. Actively partnering with them in educational progress. Blame the parents for all of the students' academic failures. So your answer is communicate respectfully, honestly, regularly regarding child progress, actively partnering with them in the educational process. Ethical teachers view parents as vital co-educators. They establish open, proactive, and positive lines of communication, sharing both success and areas for improvement without being defensive or accurate. 41. Which of the following represent the pastoral role of a teacher? Grading mathematics papers accurately, looking after the personal, emotional, social welfare of the students in their care, managing the school's agricultural garden, conducting the morning assembly prayers. So it is the answer looking after the personal, emotional, social welfare of the student in their care. The pastoral role involves the teacher acting in loco parents, in the place of a parent, ensuring students are safe, emotionally supported, and guided through personal issues that affect their well-being and learning. 42nd, a teacher uses culturally biased examples in a test that disadvantages students from urban areas and confuses students from rural areas. This violates the professional ethics of autonomy, confidentiality, fairness and equity, collegiality. So the answer is fairness and equity. Fairness and assessment means ensuring that test items do not contain language, context, or scenarios that advantage or disadvantage specific groups based on their cultural, geographic, or socio-economic backgrounds. 43. The Guru Purnima festival in India is traditionally celebrated to mark the end of the academic year, express reverence, gratitude, and respect to the spiritual and academic teachers, celebrate the inventions of the printing press, worship the school building. So here is answer is express reverence, gratitude, and respect to the spiritual and academic teachers. Deeply rooted in Guru Sishya Parampara, Guru Purnima is a day dedicated to honoring one's teacher, recognizing their vital role in dispelling the darkness of ignorance and guiding the students' life path. 43. What is the teacher's role in constructive pedagogy? To pour information into empty minds, to enforce absolute silence, to create learning environment where students can actively explore, experiment, and construct their own understanding of concept, to read the textbook aloud word for word. So his answer is to create learning environment where students can actively explore, experiment, and construct their own understanding of concept. Constructivism, Piaget, Vygotsky, posits that learners build knowledge based on their experience. The teacher's role is to facilitate these experiences and provide scaffolding rather than transmitting facts directly. 45. If a teacher suspects that a student is facing abuse or severe neglect at home, their professional and legal responsibility is A. Investigating the matter themselves by interrogating the parents, keep quiet to avoid getting involved in family matter, report the suspicion immediately to the designated child protection authorities or school administration as a mandate by law, tell the student to toughen up. So the answer is report the suspicion immediately to the designated child protection authorities or school administration as a mandate by law. Teachers are legally and ethically mandate reporters if they suspect child abuse or neglect. They are obligated by law to report it immediately to the proper authorities to ensure the child's safety. 45. Collegiality is an important professional character. It refers to teachers' ability to collegiality. So the collegiality, colleague, college, sorry, collegiality. That it refers to work cooperatively and respectfully with fellow teachers, collegiality. Sharing resources and supporting teachers each other's professional growth. Compete aggressively with other teachers for the teacher of the year award. Correct the principal's grammar during the staff meeting. Isolate themselves in their classrooms. See their classroom to avoid staff politics. So the answer is work cooperatively and respectfully with fellow teachers, sharing resources and supporting each other's professional growth. So here collegiality is the cooperative relationship between colleagues. A collegial school environment fosters mutual support, shared problem solving, and unified approach. to students rather than toxic competition or isolation. Thank you. All the best.